Charaka Perera. I'm the Director, Chief Operating Officer of Stafford Motor Company Private Limited. Stafford Motor Company is actually the sole authorized distributor for all Honda products in Sri Lanka. The company was incorporated in 1977, and initially we brought down Honda two-wheelers, and then we added on the range with Honda four-wheelers and power products. And we do after-sales services, and we supply spare parts also for the range. And currently we have about staff strength of about 750 people, employees, based around 9 locations. And in addition to that, to serve the customers and to serve the retail requirement, we have about 500 dealers spread around the country. With regard to the four-wheeler market, our best seller is the Honda CR-V at the moment, and that is having a very high share in the mid SUV segment. And the Honda Civic is also doing quite well in the sedan arena. With regard to the four-wheelers, we dominate the market actually with over 42% market share. And in the scooter segment alone, sub-segment of the two-wheeler industry, we have about nearly close upon 60% market share. With regard to the labor requirement, of course, especially in the technical area, most of the motor companies are finding it a bit difficult to find people. Partly it's because a lot of these technically competent people have started migrating to other countries. And also another problem what we are facing is a lot of them have been moving out to do their own activities like driving a three-wheeler, which is actually having a major impact on the labor of our industry. And another recent trend what we have seen is recruiting youngsters, the youth, into even jobs like sales or HR or marketing, whereas competent, good quality talent is a bit of a scarce resource, because some of them, majority of them, I believe, they are migrating. When it comes to the taxation of four-wheelers, it's currently over 200% import duty placed on vehicles. And recently the luxury tax also came into effect, which increases the landed cost of a vehicle further. Of course, as an industry, we understand that taxation has to be there, but our request to any government is that taxation policy to be developed in coordination with the industry, because for example, some time ago the hybrid taxes was brought down drastically, and there was a huge influx of hybrid vehicles into the country in all brands. But unfortunately still we don't have a proper methodology of disposing the hybrid battery, and if those batteries get into the dump yards, the chemicals which will come out of the batteries will actually spoil the earth water, and we will have a bigger environmental problem. Vehicle manufacturing, full-scale manufacturing is a substantial investment for any brand. When you take a third world country like ours, the majority of the vehicles being registered or sold are two-wheelers. Currently Sri Lanka has about 25,000 two-wheelers being registered, and about maybe 3,000 to 4,000 four-wheelers being registered. So for any manufacturer, the two-wheeler market looks more potential to set up any assembly. But unfortunately, with regard to the two-wheeler assembly, our policies are not very clear. Because I personally know that certain brands were interested in setting up, but due to the government regulations not being open to two-wheeler assembly, those projects did not really materialize. For four-wheelers, still one or two did have some sort of initiation, but we need to government needs to intervene to expand those areas further and give better policies for the investors. The industry is heavily talking about electrification of four-wheelers as well as two-wheelers, and most of the brands have come up with their four-wheeler vehicles as well as electric two-wheelers also are in the pipeline. As a country, of course, there are several things that we need to look at when it comes to electrification. I would say number one would be having electric vehicles is really good for the environment, but at the same time we need to look at the electric source. If our power generation is not environment friendly, then we need to look at that as well as a main area. And then the recharging infrastructure, which also needs to be set up. and also to see how the maintenance of those vehicles can be done. Likewise, there are so many areas that needs to be looked into. Once again, the government and the industry has to get together and develop the roadmap so that we can really plan out the change of Sri Lanka to electrification in a better way. With regard to two-wheeler industry, if you take, Sri Lanka is a unique market when you compare the Asian region, because in whole of Asia, the commuter two-wheeler bikes are the biggest market. In Sri Lanka, the commuter market is there in a big way, but we see exponential growth in the adventure riding, fun riding, that kind of market also. So that is growing, and we feel that that's one of the big segments in the future two-wheeler market. In the four-wheeler segment, of course, electrification certainly is coming up, and also the new way forward for automobile company would not only be by selling a vehicle and now doing after sales, but by providing so much of related services through the vehicle to the consumer. That's where the future is heading, and even in certain European countries, some of these products are already in play. So we are getting ready. We are looking at the future, and as an industry, we are discussing how our local companies can get ready to get into that segment as well.